How's it going, guys? Riv here, and today we are reviewing Bambi by Hippo Campus. Not necessarily a review that's here by popular demand or anything. It's just a band that I was really digging from their debut album, Landmark, which I think provided us with some very lush, breezy, very well produced light rock music. It's the kind of music you can kind of just turn your mind off to and listen to the melody and bob your head to it. But at the same time, if you looked at it from an instrumental standpoint, a lyrical standpoint, it was all there, especially the lyrics, which were fairly dark most of the time, which kind of contrasted with the light music. That was kind of interesting. But over here on this album, they really doubled down on that sort of melancholy mood. They take those lyrics that were darker and they matched them with the instrumentation a lot of the time. You could see it here on the intro, Mistakes, which, once again, it's an opener. It kind of just sets the mood. It's not something I need to hear a lot, but it really does accomplish that idea of setting a darker tone. And I know I just finished saying that this album is darker, but these next three songs kind of return to that idea with the landmark of matching dark lyrics with a very light tone. But in terms of production, these songs are very far from what we saw in Landmark. They're a lot poppier, they're a little more experimental, and I'm really digging it. I mean, some of the synths on these songs, like Anxiety, has this sort of beat that reminds me a lot of 808s and Heartbreaks by Kanye West. It's kind of a strange comparison, but it's the first thing I thought of. And then Doubt doubles down on the synths to an even better result, in my opinion. This song has one of the best choruses on the album. It's very lush and angelic, pleasant to the ears, regardless of how dark the subject matter is, talking about a relationship that is, on the hinges. And then Bambi, one of the big singles off this album, one of the best songs here. The production on this one is there's a drum machine in there, and there's these kind of samples of, like, I guess the chipmunk voice kind of thing. And I'm not usually too keen on drum machines, mainly because I can go into GarageBand and make something of a similar caliber, but it really doesn't take away from the song. It kind of complements it in a way. It's not overpowering. And the lyrics on this one are some of my favorites, talking about someone who's clearly having mental troubles and how that's starting to become a burden onto other people. And yeah, I mean, these are three of my favorite songs in the album, each one better than the next. And I guess since I'm going track by track already, I'll talk about the rest of the songs on here. Why Even Try is very reminiscent of Landmark in terms of sound and overall tone. It doesn't really blow me away given how they experiment on songs before this and songs after this on this album. Still a solid song though. But Think It Over. Now, Think It Over is my favorite song on this album. It creates such an amazing atmosphere. This is what I'm talking about when I say matching the tone of the song with the lyrics. And it has one of the best melodies on the album. And the way it experiments both with the vocals and the synths and these pianos that come in and these muffled drums. And it all kind of just culminates in crescendos. And it's very well done and tasteful in terms of experimentation. And I'm not really doing the song justice. Just really, I recommend you go listen to it. And then Bubbles is a fairly simple song in terms of structure and sound. It's another song talking about a relationship falling apart. But there's one moment where the song kind of just explodes for like 20 seconds or something. And it's amazing. I wish I could hear the lyrics better, but I just like that they took a risk with that. It might turn some people off. I really liked it. And then here in the final stretch, we have Honestly, which is another song that wouldn't feel out of place on Landmark. I think it does a better job than Why Even Try in terms of that sound. It has a little more of a kick to it. And then Golden is a song that I really don't have much to say about. I really like the melodies, the chorus, and it just delivers more on that melancholy pop rock sound. And then Passenger is a song that, well, it took a few listens to grow on me, but it has been growing on me. It's that kind of song. The single version is actually different from the album version. The album version has an outro on it that is very eerie. Didn't really think much of it, but once I had the lyrics in front of me, I really thought it was a great way to close the album. It kind of closes it in the same way that it opens, in kind of a dark, dramatic sort of way. So, to summarize all of that, Hippo Campus is really able to experiment with a lot of sounds on this album while still achieving a consistent theme and tone. and I really think they grow into their own on this album, really reaching a sort of new level of introspection. And if you averaged up all of the ratings I gave on each song, it comes out to a 7.7, which I'm just going to be generous and round up to an 8 out of 10. That's probably in the ballpark of what I would have given Landmark if I were to review it. It's kind of hard to tell which one I like better at this point, given how different they are, but I have to say this might have the edge over Landmark for me. I maybe just because it's fresh in my mind, but anyways, that concludes this review. If you have any suggestions for what I should review in the future, leave them in the comments. If you agree with me, disagree with me, I want to hear your opinion. I openly invite it. Tell me down below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, obviously, you can subscribe. I'll be here next week with reviewing Trench by 21 Pilots. But other than that, that about does it.